Hello, everyone. I apologize, we're a minute late, but we are going to be getting started here in just a second. We will have, Dreamer just hopped up as well. So we'll give it just a minute for anybody to continue joining in before we get started, and then we'll kick off. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. And welcome everybody to our AMA this week. We have the wonderful folks that you see up here, Hubert, Beetle Dude, and Dreamer, as well as myself. And we're going to get started with Dreamer, giving us a bit of an update on the state of many things. So, Dreamer, go ahead, sir.
Thanks, Bolon. Hi, everybody. I don't have a super detailed update, but I can say that just to recap priorities. Priority one, Crystal parity. I think we've been making tons of progress there. I will not go into detail there as Beetle will provide kind of builder update on some things from last week, what to expect in the coming weeks, but excited to see that continuing to move in this market. Priority two, Serendale business continuity, whether that is continuing to live on harmony with improved relationship with the team there, or like a new chain. And I think a lot of folks in Discord have been talking about possibilities of a new home there. I mentioned, I think 2 weeks ago, that many EVM compatible chains we have been in discussions with. Those discussions have continued with one real front runner. Not really in a place to give names out, but I guess can hint to a little bit of what is attracting us to the chain and what we're really testing out in a lot of our discussions. It's really kind of like a job interview where you get a really nice employer that people want to work at, and you get somebody that's very qualified. It becomes like a two-way discussion, two-way interview. You're looking at the teams, you're looking at the technology. One thing with DefiKingdoms that we are focused on for any additional chain that we would consider being on, whether it's a home for Serendale or something else, is their ability to handle high level of transactions. I think we've seen that test Harmony, seen that test DFK chain, and I think pretty much any chain out there relative to other protocols, it is looked at to be quite beefy. We have had discussions at length with this front runner, and the team over there, I think, had communicated that our average transactions make up like anywhere from 3 to 5% of their overall capacity. Now, I know it's easy to say things without actually testing things live, but that was an important topic that we've been pursuing, and I think any move would first be heavily tested to make sure that the experience will be good all around, and wouldn't necessarily require us to be on our own layer 2 or subnet equivalent for every chain we're on. We love DFK chain, but DFK chain also requires a lot of infrastructure, a lot of additional time, and we partnering with Avalanche and having DFK chain be powered by the Avalanche subnets is really our main focus there. So other chains that we're looking at, we're being cautious to not kind of get in too deep and have to run two different infrastructures, rely on new bridges to be added there, new price oracles. We'd rather benefit from the existing technology on the main chain, so to speak. Some other interesting things about the front runner, really high potential for user acquisition in terms of region, partners, and just the overall future of that chain. That's something that's important to us because from a business development perspective, finding new users to come and join the kingdoms as we add additional utility, whether in a bull or a bear market, is definitely top of mind. We can do that by targeting users that are not in Web3 but are gamers. You could look at that at people that are in Web3 but maybe not games, maybe blockchain gaming but not on the chains that support DefiKingdoms. And one of the ways to really benefit from some chains that already have a lot of capital and focus and good initiatives to get new users is to partner with those chains in the regions or in the areas with the partnerships and networks that have a high potential for user acquisition. So really technology being able to not only support what we have been doing and what we will be doing going forward, to make sure that it's a good experience, as well as user acquisition, are definitely top of mind. And we think that this, I'll keep saying front runner for now, discussions are going well. Actually, tonight at like 1:30 a.m. my time, we are talking to their investment team to talk about potential, I'll call it a grant, but potential capital injection for the work that would go into moving Serendale as an option, and then any interest in the fundraise, which has been mentioned before, has kind of been put on hold. Maybe not hold's maybe not the right word, but there's just things that we need to make sure we solidify and figure out before full confidence and evaluation, because the bridge incident that we experienced and all the fallout and the uncertainty that we're kind of working through, it's not the best place to raise from. So meeting with their investment team tonight to see how that goes, and may have a more detailed update in the next week. We shall see. But meanwhile, we are still meeting with a few other chains, some chains that have like EVM arms that are coming out that haven't been historically seen as EVM compatible. We're considering them as well. It isn't just for Serendale. We're trying to be strategic here. We don't know how long the bear market will last. We are focusing on our priorities one by one, and really just making sure that as we have consistent progress and aren't necessarily sprinting to each of our milestones, but making sure we're being consistent, we're being smart, we're making good partners, we're being careful. We want to make sure that we not only survive, but build awesome stuff while surviving. So that does require not only hard work from the awesome team that we have, most of which we don't see on the call right now, that have been working their tails off in a market that's quite uncertain. I really give kudos to everybody involved, given the emotions that are a bit of a roller coaster in the crypto world, especially in the last few months or throughout the whole year. But a lot of progress there, and I hope to have a more detailed update to come in the coming weeks.
Awesome. Really appreciate you, Dreamer, and everything going into that, and then also the regular updates as well. We're looking forward to bringing y'all more specifics, but can't get too specific until things are ready. So I did also want to circle back. Apologies, forgot to acknowledge. Fox was not able to be here for this AMA. He's traveling, so we do not have the Fox with us at the moment. But we're oh, I just forgot to say that. So sorry. With that, I did want to, as Dreamer mentioned, go to Beetle Dude, and he has a bit of a dev update for us.
Thanks, Bolon. Yeah, we're a poor stand-in for Fox, but hopefully he'll be back around next week. But yeah, from the build side, I think hopefully people have noticed that we're still pushing things out, maybe more than ever at this point. We got Meditation Circle out last week, along with a couple other pretty cool features, better handling for people with over 100 heroes, the option to send your items to another wallet straight through the game, including the new Eternal Story pages. So those are some exciting updates that we got out last week. The week right before that was the fishing and foraging quests. This particular week, we're taking a break so we can kind of get back onto our normal release cycle, which is every other 2 weeks. So expect another update coming out next Wednesday. Some of the things that we're working on currently are Alchemist. That one's coming along pretty well. We do need some way to have gold, so we're working still on the item bridge. I think we have a good path forward on that. We have layer 0 set up, and we're just kind of completing the last items that we need before we do some testing and making sure that works well. And then we will have gold mining and crystal mining coming as well. So that's the next those are the next profession quests that should be coming up. And I'm saying a lot of stuff, no particular order. We're just trying to kind of plan everything as best we can to make sure that what we do launch is usable as much as possible when it's up, and that we can kind of get new features out as quickly as we can as well. So those are the big things coming. I'm super excited about Item Bridge, and a lot of great work has gone into that on the Solidity side, and that will be a huge feature to have out on Crystal Vale and Serendale when that comes. Yeah, that's kind of the big updates for this week. We're just continuing to plug away. The team that's here is doing an awesome job continuing to hustle and bring out these great new features. So, yeah, excited. Back
Awesome.
to you, Bolon.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it very much. Yeah, very, very excited for what's been done and what's still to come. And since you're the only direct programming dev up here, you just get all of the credit. So you've
Perfect.
actually done all of the Crystal Vale parody single-handedly.
Awesome.
So congratulations. And
Thank you.
Much appreciated. So we are going to go into some of the questions that have been submitted to the AMA questions channel as well as the Rapider site. Just for reference, talk.defykingdoms.com is where we're pulling our AMA questions from primarily, but we do still look at the AMA questions channel here in Discord as well. So if you have questions for us, please submit them there. So the first one, we're going to start with a softball. When will the Wanderer start in Crystal Vale to help heroes level up? As Beetle Dude said, they already did. So they are there.
Let me tell you.
Mission accomplished. So we're good on that front. The next question is about duels. It is what is going to be done with the jewels that people are paying for DFK Duel right now. They are actually, or has a decision been made, but I believe that we have made a decision, and Hubert is here to tell us about it.
Yes, sir. Hey, guys. Happy to be here. Let's see. For the duels fees, it's kind of broken into 3 different pieces. There are the cost of the actual tickets, which is also something that will be something that third parties can use as well and be able to generate tickets through this. Those costs of each raffle ticket is 50% burned and 50% going to the quest fund. And then any profit that's made on top of beyond the cost of the raffle tickets, which are 0.005 joules per ticket, by the way, that just goes directly to our developer wallet. So that's right now. I don't know that has actually been implemented. I'd have to check with Fox. I know he was working on that. It might not have been right now at this point. So it could be that we have all the jewels just kind of collecting on the dual wallet at the moment. But that's something that we were working to get fully implemented and also ready so that third parties can use it as well to be able to generate tickets. So.
Perfect. Yeah, I believe those jewels right now are still in the dual contract, but they will follow that same distribution pattern once that's implemented. Awesome. Much appreciated, Hubert. The next question that we were going to jump to is actually kind of a question / suggestion, but the idea is basically once a hero is within a threshold of XP for a level up, and they used 4 in their submission, being able to potentially pay Jewel, or I mean, theoretically, we could use another in-game item as well to make up just that small XP gap for a hero to be able to level up. And then obviously that fee could follow a variety of distribution patterns. So that one's kind of a suggestion as well. But if anybody wants to chime in with any thoughts on that, they're more than welcome to.
Sounds like a Hubert question to me, or comment.
Yeah, I wasn't going to call you out though.
I definitely have been one of those people that have ended up with like one experience to go to level up and experience that chagrin. I guess I just worry that if we do something like that, you know, it would have to be within certain amount of threshold. I would say. We have talked about there being in the future some items that provide experience, and that might be a better solution than something like this, where we actually have to go and change the smart contract to implement something like this. If we instead have some items that are available in the future that can grant experience to heroes, that may be a better path. So I mean, I guess I'm not really discounting it as something that we will never do, but I think that there are probably other uses for our time that may be able to solve this and also work better in the end.
Awesome. Yeah, that would be a really cool item, actually. Also, chagrin is a great word, and I just wanted to give you your Scrabble points for it.
Thanks.
All right. Anytime. The next question is actually also going to be a Hubert question. Lucky you. You're going to be the highlight of today's AMA. Excuse me. Short version of the question is, what details are more or less finalized for PvP? Are there any that we're able to share at this point, etc.?
Did you jump between two different questions there? There was the rune drop one and then the PvP one, or do you want me to?
Oh, I was starting with just the PvP one.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
No problem.
Yes, with the PvP one, as far as like what we can say, I don't really want to say too much about it. I mean, we do have a working prototype at the moment, but with the combat system, like something as in depth as this, there's always going to be changes and things that we have to iterate on as we develop it. We also have been working to try to come up with a fast track approach to this, and I don't really want to say more than that about it, but yeah, at this point, I guess I don't really have a way to. I don't think we have a way to really request community content or community support for the development of this. There may be something that comes in the future, but right now I think we have a path that we're pursuing, and I want to give us more time to actually get further along on that path before we say more.
Perfect. Fair enough. And since you're already here and ready, there was a question about rune drops. I know you know the question, but just as a brief recap for our audience here, basically asking about rune drop patterns as far as the Moksha rune being available in the level 0 profession quest, what the plan is as far as the pattern of what types of runes will drop from what quests.
Right. Okay. Yes. So I think one part of the question was asking, or I guess it was mentioning a little bit of a surprise that Moksha runes were available for the level 0 quest. That was done as a kind of additional little promotion to help incentivize the quest over on Crystal Vale. Just with all the issues that are going on with Harmony and whatnot, we do want to encourage people to come over to Crystal Vale and quest there. So including Moksha runes there was just a little add-on. It is a very rare drop rate though, so you won't get very many, but they are available. As far as like the remaining runes, the original intent was never for it to be, on each tier of profession quest would give you the next rune. Really, the runes were designed in a way to allow us as developers to release combat in pieces, so that we don't have to deal with content for levels 1 through 100 all at once, because that's a lot. So has always kind of been considered as things are becoming ready, we look to where we can release the next rune. I will say what I had always intended was that lower levels would be from Profession Quest. The runes would be mostly from those, but higher level runes would come from more in-depth content like PvE and other features that we add. But that's not to say that we won't also include ways for you to get some of the higher level runes in Profession Quest as well. But I guess I just there isn't a specific pattern that I can point to at this point. It kind of has to go as we're developing and where we're at with things, and where the community is at with their heroes as well. It all kind of plays into that. So, kind of a roundabout answer, but hopefully that kind of gives you some insight into how runes were kind of designed in the first place.
Awesome. I appreciate it. That is good insight to have. And then we had a question about progress on a possible new home, which we have already covered, which actually really kind of brings us to our one of our final questions, which is actually there's a couple left, so that's my bad. But one of them is, as far as DFK chain goes, right now, any smart contract being launched has to be whitelisted. Essentially, the question was why, and do we have plans on changing that? I think, Dreamer, you were going to speak to that a little bit.
Yeah, I will. I'll do my best. I am not a Solidity dev. I'm going to be speaking for kind of Fox, Fawn, who is integral in the initial setting up, and then Magnus, who's really stepped up on the Solidity side. But in the earlier discussions, when it came to validators, when it came to smart contracts, my understanding was that the long-term goal on the overall subnet platform was to not require it to be a whitelist like permissioning process, but that we weren't quite there yet. So I am not going to pretend to have the most recent technological update, but initially it was, we're launching there. We wanted to be very secure, and to my understanding, even initially, that was part of the kind of one of first subnet parameters. So I think that is a question, although I'm trying to give an answer on it now. We should mark for Fox, Magnus, or others following week to give an update on. I will say, though, that those that have reached out that are looking to potentially integrate in the raffle system, those that have reached out looking to build on DFK chain, there are projects being whitelisted. So it's not that nobody can get access. So although it might seem like, hey, little too centralized or a little too cumbersome, I would encourage all to reach out, and if you have something you want to deploy on DFK chain, if it adds value, if it's within the overall what's it called? Not user agreement, something of service, terms of service, and it isn't a protocol that is going to be necessarily like detrimental to the overall gameplay or experience, very high likelihood that we're going to whitelist you. So it's more of a lacking in technology type of thing, rather than have a firm stance. No whitelisting is my understanding. So that may be corrected or added upon as we get others that are more familiar with the current setup, maybe next week.
Awesome. Yeah, we can definitely forward that question, but I appreciate you giving what response we currently can, and at least giving some insight on it. So that's perfect. Thank you very much. Next question is, as far as, instead of actually runes, which you had just talked about, but as far as the stones and crystals go, obviously, item bridge is one thing, which the person that just asked this question said they missed the beginning of the AMA. So just to reiterate, item bridge is still coming. We do not have a firm ETA on it yet. There's progress being made, but that is still absolutely in progress. But as far as available, like through questing, do you know off the top of your head, or Beetle Dude actually, I guess, when / if we have a firm timeline on when those would be available yet?
I'm not sure if we'll have other ways to receive those until we get Item Bridge up. I'm hopeful that we'll get Item Bridge up fairly soon. That's a bad answer. But we do have an end in sight with the Item Bridge. We just have some testing and things that we need to work through. So, Hubert, I don't know if you have any thoughts about what else. I don't know that we've talked about moving the stone carver over, but that could be a path if needed.
Right. Yeah, for Stonecarver, we want to probably have the Alchemist first. As far as the crystals, though, I mean, the training quests I think we were planning to have those be next after the mining quests are out. So that would at least cover the basic lesser crystals. And then, yeah, like you said, I think the bridge is really going to be kind of key to get some of that stuff over sooner than later.
Awesome. Hey, an honest answer is never a bad answer. I appreciate it. I think everybody is aware that a lot of things are in flux, and so moving as many things along as rapidly as possible all at once. And then, so one last question, and then we'll actually be wrapping up for the day. But the final question is probably, I would guess, maybe Dreamer Hubert, but Beetle, feel free to chime in as well. Would gold ever become a deflationary token, or is it always going to be inflationary?
I guess, yeah, Dream, I don't know if, I don't think we've really had too many discussions about changing the way gold works at the moment. I mean, it does require that hero's quest in order to generate it. But yeah, if we wanted to discuss, I think that we haven't had any internal discussions to change the way gold works, is what I'll say.
Yeah, and this answer is going to be more of a I'm going to think out loud answer and be transparent about things we thought about gold in the past. So when I hear inflationary, I'm thinking, is it only ever going to serve a purpose where you just kind of add to the supply? Deflationary, we are reducing the overall supply. So if you add to the supply, all else equal, price drops. Reduce it, all else equal, price goes up. So, I mean, if I think about gold initially, it started as a purely inflationary token, right? You go mining for gold, there was no utility. And then I remember, Hubert, you might remember what the first utility was. I think
Potions.
Potions. When we had potions, we saw immediate price impact or price discovery, more so, of gold because we added utility. And you could argue that that was deflationary because now people are spending gold or burning it as opposed to only earning it. Now on the earning side, we could think about it both ways. Hubert said, well, you are questing for it. So what does that mean? Well, you have to own a hero, and on DFK chain, you have to spend JUL in order to quest that hero. What is the offset of the reward of gold relative to the utility that you could use to then burn it relative to the hero that you had to own? I would say that it just isn't as easy as it currently being inflationary and will it ever be deflationary. I think depending on the user and the utility of gold and the popularity of that utility over time, you could argue either way. So right now, duels is a great way for there to be some utility around gold. And the more we can enhance that and the more others can come in and potentially integrate into our alpha system, there'll be even more utility there. So I would say the intent is to continue to add utility on the deflationary side. On the inflationary side, well, we are about to have 2 realms, maybe not about, but we are close to having 2 realms where you could quest at either one. I've heard the view, oh no, now gold is going to be doubly minted. Well, it would still require double the heroes to be mining gold in order to mint that gold. So I think we will look to see, what that looks like in the economy. It could be that there is a bit more gold being minted, but it could also be that maybe the demand for miners will go up. Unsure. We'll have to kind of see how the economy works and how kind of natural way of the overall like economic activity of supply and demand pans out. One idea we did have at one point that we kind of moved away from was, I think we referred to it as like the under gardens, with tokens that weren't blue chip tokens, that weren't going to be paired with Jewel. Could we make like pairings and reward gold? We've really moved away from that. I think that made it a bit too disruptive in the economy as it relates to mining and all the utility for gold that we're working on. So if any are wondering if that will ever be an option, I can say that idea came up a while ago a few times and was kind of set aside as overly disruptive and maybe not the best way to solve that. Instead, we went the route of, overall like order book style potential auction house with item bridge and focusing on functionality there rather than creating like more AMM protocol decks like pairs that would reward gold. So I don't, as Hubert said in a much quicker fashion, I don't see any way that we're looking to add like a new supply of gold. But we will continue to look, other than it being available in multiple realms, obviously, but we will continue to add utility and look for unique ways to, for those that hold gold and that are buying and selling it, to be able to use it to play the game and have other, features there. So hopefully that was a good add-on to your initial comment, Hubert. I don't know if I sparked any thoughts that you'd like to add or share a different view than I shared.
No, I think you did put a lot of extra context there. That was good. So I guess the only thing that I would maybe add is, right now there are only the training quests and profession quests for heroes to be doing. But the long-term goal of this game is to have a lot more things that you can do with your heroes. So your stamina right now, while we have as many heroes as we do mining gold with their stamina, that in the future may not be the case. So I think everything in the token market that are generated from DFK transactions are, every time we add a new feature, it adds a new dynamic to the system, and that's going to continually be the case. And I do think, at least with gold and with others, everything kind of balances around the demand of the players and what they're using things for. We did see a lot of things change when pet hatching came out, for example, and there was a big rush for people to hatch pets. And we'll continually be adding more features like that. So I think you made a good point, Dreamer, to say it can be inflationary at times, it can be deflationary at times. I see a lot of people commenting about that it is actually deflationary at times. So that was a good reiteration, I would say. But yeah, I don't really have much else to add beyond that.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate it from both of you gentlemen. And at this point, we are good to go, and we can start wrapping up. So we'll go around real quick for some final thoughts, and then we'll call it a day. I just wanted to say that, as always, I appreciate all of you gentlemen being up here and answering these questions. And I appreciate all of our community who comes and listens. And I appreciate our community who doesn't come and listen, too. There. Love all of you. But no, really do just appreciate everybody that's sticking with us through this process and sees the potential in the future, and we're excited for it, and we're excited to have y'all with us for it. Hubert, any final thoughts?
No, I'm just excited to keep making things move forward. We are pushing on a lot of different fronts, and financing and whatnot has kind of slowed us down in some regards, but we're still making progress. We're still going strong. I guess one little teaser I'll say is we are looking to make a few changes with the way the merchant works. The merchant being Zada and Serendale, and I'm not quite sure the Crystal Vale name, but it looks like that's something that we may be able to have kind of happen along with the feature parity that we're doing right now. And that will make prices a little bit more dynamic. I guess I'll say that for now, just to kind of give you guys a preview. But I also am not positive when exactly that's going to be out yet. So we'll have more info as we get closer to it.
Oh, wait until the last minute to drop some alpha teaser. All right, I like it. Beetle Dude, any last thoughts?
Putting the pressure on me, Hubert. I get it. No, I think I'll say, like Bolon, you mentioned earlier, like I'm the face of the builders right now currently, but there's a ton of people working behind the scenes who are really pushing hard to make this thing happen, not just me. So super happy to have a committed group of people that I'm able to work with and get this stuff pushed out. And I don't know, it feels good. I think we've still got a great team of people who are committed and ready to keep building. So yeah, just wanna say that, and appreciate the community as well and the support that you guys give to us. So thank you very much. That's it for me.
Nope, there's no alpha drop, so we're gonna circle back to Beetle Dude. Nah, just kidding. And last but certainly not least, Dreamer, if you want to wrap us up and take us home.
Sure. Yeah, I think just doing a mental check. I think it's really important in kind of every part of life and business to review kind of how we're doing. And if I were to look at today versus maybe a month ago versus 2 months ago, we've tried to hold these AMAs every week, sometimes more than a week, more than once in a week, and there's some pretty tricky times. Sometimes things that we all woke up to that none of us expected. Sometimes, some of which some hard discussions back and forth, some hard problems to solve for. But in all things in life, people can talk. Talk is really easy. Talk is cheap. Take whatever cliche you want to say. But I'm just proud to see that in this market, in these series of chains of events, we are continuing to show the community that the Kingdom Studios team and all those that are contributing and all those in the community, we do have that long-term vision of excitement, of innovation, and of success that is DefiKingdoms. And many of our previous partners, current partners, and future potential partners see it, and I see it, and I just feel like we can be excited. We can post things on Twitter. We can go to events. We can all pat each other on the back. But what it really comes down to is what we're building, what we're putting out, and Beetle Dude leading so many behind the scenes, and Hubert continuing to work through mechanics, and everybody in the community helping people come in, answering their questions, keeping our socials as active as we can, working at other ways of revenue through merchandise, new partners, continuing to pump out awesome art with Second Best Dad and everybody supporting him. It makes me really happy to be on this team, to be working with everybody here, and it would be I guess a miss if we didn't pause and say, not to necessarily brag, but to say we can get on these AMAs and talk a lot, but we are seeing things come out. And I think if we look 3 months, 4 months prior, maybe it isn't everything we wanted to come out based on what we were looking at then in that environment. But all things considered, I am pleased to kind of be standing by the side of all these gentlemen and other gentlemen and ladies not on here that are working their butts off, keeping a level head, pushing forward, and really, keeping their eye on that light at the end of the tunnel. People say no pressure, no diamonds, and we've been under a lot of pressure, and everybody has really been stepping up and performing, and I'm continuing to look forward to the diamonds we're making, and we'll hopefully start popping out here pretty soon, because I say it to myself every once in a while. I look in the mirror. We need a break, and we're getting little breaks here and there. Not like I want to take a break, but like our big break. We need some great news. We've been given some good news, and we're going to continue to work towards that progress, and be patient and look after each other and try to deliver some good stuff. So thanks, Bolon, for leading this so well. Thanks, Beetle and Hubert, and for everybody using the Raptor site. That was a big change to go away from live questions, and I think it's worked out really well. We're still, trying to do our best on working through all the recommendations that come on there, and do have limited resources to get to every single item and everything live, but dropping in questions for the AMA is really helpful to make sure that a week doesn't go by where something really pressing that needs to be answered live, isn't missed. So please continue to use that, and thank you for supporting, everybody on the team and the community and so on. So with that, bullish.
Bullish.
Bullish. Thanks, y'all.